So very warm afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Prerna Bhardwaj, the coordinator of Yogananda Center for Theology. And I took this immense pleasure to welcome each one of the divine people attending this webinar. And we have among us honorable guest speaker of our second webinar of 2022, Honorable Swami Suddhananda Giriji. Welcome you, Swamiji, on this webinar. We also have the patron of Yogananda Center for Theology, Professor P.K. Khosla. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Have chairperson of Yogananda Center for Theology, Mr. Vivek Atre. Welcome you, sir. And all the attendees who are young students, other people, divine people who are attending this webinar, and they all are very eager to listen to divine and wisdom words of Swamiji. So before we start, may I request Professor P.K. Khosla to kindly present welcome note. Over to you, Khosla, sir.
Swamiji, Jai Guru, my association with the YSS goes back to when in 92, a copy of the book Autobiography of a Yogi was given to my son for studying first in the class. I was shocked to see that book. These type of books are given to the students. It should have been a science book. That was my attitude then. When I read that book, then I thought, my God, I'm 52 years old. I should have started this journey much earlier. So then I came to know that in life, balanced life is not only the material life or your financial and social status, it is also your spiritual life. First time, I got the chance to think about the soul. Although I was aware of these things from my childhood because my younger brother used to talk about his past life. When he was 3 or 4 years old, when we checked it, we found everything to be the same, but he had told us 100% truth was there. So in other words, my background, my family, way of thinking, it was all spiritual, but I was not to this life till I had read that book. That shook me. Yes, I am wasting my time. But when I have started this journey, I came to know I must learn. I must learn how to meditate. And who could be my guru? I wanted to have a living guru. But ultimately, I didn't stick to, it did not appeal to the then choices available. But finally, one day I was just sitting, I read one line from Yogananda's writings, which read, even if I am not here on this earth, in the astral world, I will be taking care of you, sitting there guiding you. So you need not always have the living guru, because guru cannot always, you can't be with the guru all the time. If you are a householder, so it will be only the short spells you can be with the guru. So all this made me to join this group. I consider myself very lucky. Many people say Dr. Khosla is a successful person. Well, whatever I am, I attribute to my guru, because I came to this path, and I can only talk. The title of this today's webinar is also on key to success, a balanced life, a balanced thing. So I am a supporter of it. We are very fortunate that Swami Suddhananda, a senior most monk from YSS, is with us. I recall 25 years ago when he came, or 20 years ago when he came to Solar. He was very young then, but now I find the aging is also there, as is on my side. So I was always impressed with his scholarly thought. Many sermons which he gave then, I used to put in my diary and try to follow those things. So dear students and all others who are here, we are very fortunate that Swami Suddhananda is with us today, and we will be benefited, because this life is of your material life, your scholarly output, your profession, and also the spiritual upliftment. So if you have body, mind, and soul, you can balance this thing. you can be a successful person. Thank you very much. And honored that the Swamiji is today for the theology lecture. Another last thing, Swamiji, we are going to start another university for which the government of Himachal has constituted a committee for our proposal. The university, Shoolini Yogananda University of Ancient Indian Wisdom. So the process has started. God willing, with Guru's grace, this will be maturing soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir, for your words. Thank you once again. Now, we will continue with the webinar. We have Swami Suddhananda ji. He graduated as an electrical engineer from IIT Chennai in 1975. Immediately after, Swamiji joined Bhava Atomic Research Center in Mumbai after serving in BARC for 5 years as a part of their research team experimenting in plasma physics. He felt the inner calling to dedicate his life as a monastic disciple of Shri Shri Paramahansa Yogananda ji, the author of the spiritual classic Autobiography of a Yogi. Yogananda ji founded Yoga Satsanga Society of India as a spiritual and charitable society to disseminate the scientific Raja Yoga teachings and the spiritual treasures of ancient India. Since 1980, Swamiji has been living in YSS ashrams at Ranchi, Dakshineshwar, and Noida. He is a member of the board of directors and is currently serving as the treasurer of YSS. He has addressed several groups, students, faculty members in various colleges and universities, to professionals, even in healthcare, in other industries. So we are very proud, Swamiji, and very thankful from the core of our heart that you took your time for YCT webinar. And the topic for today's webinar is balance, key to success. So now may I request Swamiji to kindly address the gathering. Over to you, Swamiji.
So dear divine friends, attending from Shoolini University or elsewhere, warm greetings to each one of you from the sacred Yogananda Satsanga Ashram at Ranchi, founded by Paramahansa Yogananda. And I pray that the sacred vibrations from this ashram can be felt by each of the participants through this e-transmission. Because, you know, we are discovering over the last 2 years how through these online methods, still we can feel connected and still we can exchange the vibrations. We can share the divine friendship. So I pray that you all feel that today. And as you know, in the world today, with its so many tamasic influences, the blessings of saintly lives that are wholly dedicated to bringing divine light and love into the world, as seen in all the great ones that have blessed India in modern times, are an absolute necessity and a divine blessing on the whole world, helping to maintain the balance of spiritual vibrations in our very troubled time and helping the world on its upward evolution. Paramahansa Yogananda, one such Jagat Guru, whose life and teachings inspired you all in Shoolini University to establish this Yogananda Center for Theology, to bring awareness globally to the spiritual dimensions of our lives. And in the present context of globalization and interlacing of various human activities, it is no longer tenable that knowledge can be studied in watertight compartments. We have to overcome set ways of thinking and prejudices and welcome knowledge coming from different quarters so that truth may be established. So we are very happy that Shoolini University is doing exactly that by inviting with open-mindedness persons from various disciplines so that a scientific spirit can be inculcated among all through constructive exchange of ideas and innovations. I am personally happy being an ex-electrical engineer engaged in research, now coming to you in a different garb to share with you a few points which may help the faculty, administrators, and students of this university. I shifted gears from doing research on electrical power generation, to spiritual power generation, which integrates and enriches various dimensions of our lives. My search for truth resulted in finding the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. His book, Autobiography of a Yogi, a world-renowned spiritual classic that has completed 75 glorious years since its release, sheds light on many facets of truth. The purpose of one's life and how should one conduct his life or her life in this world to remain calm and unshaken amidst the challenges of the fast-paced modern living, and to achieve one's goal of real success by leading a balanced life. So the purpose of this talk is to stimulate your thinking so that you may think deeply about what constitutes real success and the importance of balance in all avenues of life. I pray that you will explore the inner dimensions using the scientific yoga meditation process and thus enrich your lives beyond imagination by learning to live a balanced life of inner peace and outer achievements. A balanced life of inner peace and outer achievements. I will share my points using a PowerPoint presentation, so that will be helpful for you to focus. Let me start the PowerPoint. Hope you are able to see my screen. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Why should we explore the inner dimension? Let us start with that. You see, we are all so much familiar with the outer technologies. There have been a lot of improvements, research, changes, which have been happening over the last few decades or even centuries. But we need to remember, in contrast to the outer technologies that enable us to harness the energies in our external environment, our rishis and sages, long before, Shatabdis ago, they had discovered an inner technology, the science of controlling the life energies of life and consciousness. So when we direct all our attention and energies only outwardly, without awareness of what is inside, the spiritual side of our being, then we are neglecting one important dimension pertaining to the soul. You know, this is the basic cause of all the problems we are facing. So once we understand this, that this is the important thing for us to remember. Sorry. I went ahead too early. Okay. So it is very interesting to note that over the last few decades, the importance of spiritual or the inner development is being increasingly recognized in various fields. As examples, let us now dwell on some thought-provoking points from modern leadership or management trainers. I am drawing your attention to these to show how spirituality and soft skills are now being increasingly recognized as mainstream life skills. For example, emotional intelligence. This was propagated mainly by Daniel Goleman, and he lists 5 qualities constituting the emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, motivation, and social skills. You see how these things we would not have thought of as important for our education. Previously, like when I had passed out of the college, there used to be only tests on the intelligence quotient, IQ. But then later on, this emotional intelligence was recognized as very important. Because Daniel Goleman gives an example. There was a gold medalist from one of the top universities in USA, and many companies were vying with each other to recruit him in their company. And one company succeeded in hiring him. But after a few months, they fired him. They hired him in a few months, they fired him also. Why? Because he was so much caught in his own self, in his living in his own self, thinking about his own self. And it was very difficult for him to connect with others. There was no teamwork. And he could not work with others. And finally, the company felt that even though he was individually, he was a brilliant genius, but because of that, the company could not keep him. You see, the emotional intelligence is very important because we should know how we get along with others. And for that, we should know what is happening inside us and how much we are able to regulate our lives and how much we are empathetic with others and how much motivated we are in our whatever we do. And the social skills, how to get along with all sorts of people. You know? So now I will give you one more reference. This book lists 12 characteristics for 21st century leaders. If one wants to be successful in the 21st century, what are the qualities required? You are going to get a surprise. What are these qualities? First, absolute honesty, fairness, self-knowledge, focus on contribution, non-dogmatic spirituality, they get more done by doing less. They call forth the best of themselves and others. Openness to change. A special sense of humor, which doesn't put down others. Keen distant vision, up close focus. They have the vision in mind where they have to go, but at the same time, they are also focused on the current, what we have to do now. Unusual self-discipline. Balanced life. So you are surprised, isn't it? These are the qualities listed by, not by a rishi or muni of ancient times or from the scriptures. I am now giving you points from modern leadership trainer. He is listing these 12 qualities. Now, I will give you one more. Management guru, Stephen Covey. His book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So many of you would have read that. And he talks about the principle-centered management. This was a breakthrough made by modern management research. They found 4th generation management is the principle-centered management. First generation was simply having a to-do list. Just do this, tick off, then you are successful. Second generation is prioritizing goals. Third generation is value-based management. And the 4th generation is the principle-centered management. What is it? That is, you recognize that there are spiritual principles existing in the cosmos. You better align with them. Then you are successful. If you are not aligned, you are not successful. So, if you align with those principles, then we find fulfillment in one's life. And also, you are happy and you prosper. Hence, real success is linked to principle-centered living. Okay? So now I have quoted all the modern management gurus. Now, Let us see how our Yogananda ji defines success, how he defines it. He says, it is what you have attained within that determines success. If you are happy within, then you have all success. So success is to be measured by the yardstick of happiness, by your ability to remain in peaceful harmony with cosmic laws. Beautiful, isn't it? So it is not rightly measured by the worldly standards of wealth, prestige, and power. That's how normally we think of success. But none of these bestow happiness unless they are rightly used. There's nothing wrong in getting these, but they have to be rightly used. That is happening, that will happen only if you are in harmony with the cosmic laws which are operating in the cosmos. So now we come to the importance of yoga. So we have seen so far how the developments in modern times, they corroborate the fact that these two different approaches point out substantially the same. Whether we come through the route of modern management, leadership training, and other fields, the research done, or from our ancient yoga principles, we find the same truth is validated. Let us see how yoga is important in achieving success, because yoga bestows freedom through balanced life. It gives freedom from all suffering and leads to all-round success by living a balanced life. So we'll see that described very beautifully by Bhagavan Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 6, 17th sloka, Bhagavan Krishna tells us, Yukta hara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. That means, if you have what is called proper eatarianism, that is, your food is neither too much or it is not too scanty. You neither feast too much or fast too much. Exactly what is needed for the body. And then you learn to balance with relaxation and work, not too much work. Don't become workaholics, but you balance work with relaxation, sleep, enough sleep, and you remain awake appropriately, not remaining depriving yourself of sleep, because nowadays the research tells us sleep deprivation, how it causes all sorts of problems. So just because you want to go ahead, you want to be successful, you just press yourself and you become assertive and you just go on pushing yourself, then you are going to reap the results later on. So better to follow this wonderful advice by Bhagavan Krishna to have a balance in everything. Then I will give you one more sloka, that is, having achieved that inner peace or gathered inner peace through our yoga meditation, scientific yoga meditation, which gives us quick results. We can follow any method, but whatever method helps you to get that inner peace through stilling your thoughts, becoming by meditation, then holding on to that state of yoga, do all your activities. That's why Bhagavan Krishna says, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tektva dhanaje siddhya asiddhya samabhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. That means remaining immersed in yoga, perform all actions. Now the important points: forsaking all attachment to their fruits, and then remain indifferent to success and failure while performing actions. This mental evenness during all states of activities, resulting in success or seeming failure, that is termed yoga. By the way, there is no failure all the time. It is just a seeming failure, because we have missed some points in our efforts. Some aspects we neglected. So if you just find out why we failed and correct ourselves, we are going to be successful. Instead of that, suppose I have failed, I'm no good. If you start thinking like that, So then you are not having the right attitude. You see, Bhagavan Krishna tells us very practical and very pertinent advice to us. That means you remain even-minded during success and failure. It doesn't mean that you become like a stone, inert, no feeling. It is not that. It is actually rising above this alternating, that the excitement and depression. That if you are excited when you become successful in something, and you become depressed when there is a temporary failure, then all the time you are just going up and down, up and down. There is no evenness, there is no calmness, there is no inner peace. So this is the way to get the inner peace. I will give a little story, practical one, to illustrate this point. You all know about Thomas Alva Edison, the one who discovered the light bulb. He did research for many, many years, and he was not at all finding success. Repeated failures he was encountering. On top of that, the laboratory on which he was working, it caught fire, and the whole thing was destroyed. Think of that. You try for so many years, you are failing again and again. In addition, on top of that, this also was. What will you do? Oh, is there any God? Why this type of thing is happening? You will start criticizing and blaming everybody, everything, all that. That is normally, that's how we may think of. But what he did, his son, he was also quite, he was very aged at the time, Thomas Alva Edison. His adult son, he was standing beside his father as the father was looking at the fire. He was feeling a lot of sympathy for him. He was feeling, my poor father, he worked so long, and finally this is what is happening, how he should be feeling, how I can console him. He was thinking like that. But he looked at his face, and it was radiant. He was sort of smiling. So he was thinking that his father has become mad. How can he, at this time when this type of mishap has happened, how can he be calm and tranquil like this? But then his father told him, my son, you see, all the failures, they have gone with the fire. Now I can start with a fresh slate. I can make new efforts. Look at that. What was his attitude? And you'll be surprised, just in a few months after that, he discovered the light bulb. So Bhagavan Krishna's advice is practical or not? You see, that means whether success or seeming failure, you just treat them in the same way. Learn from the failure and keep going, and don't get too much excited with success. So then we come now to how to achieve this all-round success. How? Paramahansa Yogananda tells us very beautifully. He summarizes. Living a balanced life leads to all-round success. That is, as we said, living in harmony with the principles governing the cosmos. How do we do that? By developing our material, mental, and spiritual nature. As Professor Kostla said in the beginning, body, mind, and soul. All the three we develop in a balanced way. So, elaborate a little bit more on that. To have good health. Diseases are not created by God, but by our breaking the God's laws. Even this corona situation we faced for the last 2 years, it's all because of, in general, the whole humanity neglecting the principles of the cosmic laws. That is how things have happened. So it is not that God is punishing us. It's not that. We are breaking God's laws. Then we have to reap the results. Because just like Newton's third law, action, reaction, equal and opposite. No matter whatever we set into motion, we'll be reaping results accordingly, exactly according to that. So we'll be wise if we understand the cosmic laws or laws of hygiene, and then we just cooperate and practice. Then we'll have good health, really. Similarly, prosperity. To have prosperity, to be successful, it's surely right. There's nothing wrong in that. But we should also share that with others. That means it is include others also in our own well-being. It is not that miserly way or selfish way, we just only think about ourselves. Then we become miserable. Selfishness is a cause of problem. Then harmonious human relationships. That means we learn to get along with all sorts of people, no matter where they are, according to their rates of vibration. We learn how to tune with their wavelengths, how to connect with them, and then we learn to get along. This is also very difficult. This is an art. This is not a science. This is from the heart. We have to get that vibratory feeling we get, how the person is and how to deal with that person. And most of all, to have a well-defined purpose in life. I talked about emotional intelligence. Nowadays, we hear about the spiritual intelligence also. What is that spiritual intelligence? It is to have a clear-cut purpose in life. So to have a well-defined purpose in life. Now you see, it covers beautifully, isn't it? Everything. Health, prosperity, and good relationships, and a well-defined purpose in life. So this type of balance, that is what leads to all-round success. So now, Paramahansa Yogananda has given us a curriculum. You will all appreciate very much that how Guruji has given us for that develop this very essential life skill. That is how to live training. That is what Guruji calls. So what are the 4 parts of the how to live training? There are 4 parts. First one, science of body care for practical efficiency. To understand how the body machinery functions and how to keep it in a good and fit condition. This is a very vast subject. I will just only give you the summary points. Number 2, mental engineering, which means using our thoughts to work for us. Make use of the thoughts to go from failure to success. Thought is not an academic thing. It is not a theoretical thing. It is something which is to be applied. So this is what is mental engineering. That's why Guruji uses the term engineering. It's a practical. The next one, social arts. This is the heart's quality, how to get along with all sorts of people and all that. And the important point, applied spiritual science. That means spirituality, which is very practical, which is not just theoretical or philosophical or just only and arguments, not that. It is something to be experienced. That means we have to experience peace. We have to experience the joy. We have to experience the love for everybody without hating anyone. And we have to have the wisdom. We have to understand all this. These are all applied spiritual science. Okay? Let us take a meditation break now. Because meditation is the most important thing for balanced life. So are you ready for spiritual takeoff? So then, first you straighten your spine, which is erect, keeping your seat erect. So that is straightening the spine. Then tighten your seat belts of your attention at the kutastha, point between the eyebrows. So tighten the seat belts of your attention at the kutastha. That is, slightly uplift your eyes, look up, and then very gently focus the eyes here, fully closed or half closed. Just keep your eyes attention. So tighten the seat belts and keep your window shades open. Window shades of your heart, open your heart by relaxing the body and mind. So keep the body and mind relaxed. Keep your attention at the kutastha and keep your spine straight. So let us take that meditative posture because this helps us to really explore the inner dimension. We will practice a very simple meditation based on the Kriya Yoga meditation process Guruji has given. But we will use a very simple process now. What you do is first take a couple of deep breaths. Take a deep breath, deep inhalation and deep exhalation. Now, to make the relaxation better, Paramahansa Yogananda has given another scientific method. As we take the breath, you also tense the whole body. By clenching the fist, top to bottom, you tense the whole body. Now, breathe through the mouth, double breathing, and quickly exhale the breath and relax the whole body. One short, one long, double breathing. Let us inhale again slowly and tense the whole body. Then double breathing, exhalation and relax. Now take one breath. Quickly exhale with the double breathing. Now just wait for the breath to come. Let it come in the natural way. Just observe it like a sakshi. Let the breath just come and let breath just go. Observe the breath coming and going without controlling it. Let it just come and go. Let us just watch for a couple of minutes. Don't let the mind go anywhere else. Keep it harnessed to the breath, just watching the breath. Be relaxed. Don't let the eyes come down. Let them remain uplifted at the kutastha, or point between the eyebrows. Practice for a little more time, another 30 seconds. You may feel a gentle pull at the point between the eyebrows, and you will feel some calmness. Now take one breath and expel slowly through the mouth. Now just enjoy the peace. Forget the breath. Just enjoy the peace you are feeling, the calmness. And maybe you may feel a little joy also. Just enjoy that. Whatever feeling you have, just enjoy. Just for a few moments. As you feel the little peace at the point between the eyebrows, feel that from here, mentally, we'll try to expand that peace. From the point between the eyebrows, it is spreading to your whole of your head. Your whole head is now in peace. Feel that the vibration of peace is filling your head. Expand it, whole body is now immersed in peace. This vibration of peace and harmony, let us now expand. Feel that our whole room is now swimming in that peace and harmony. And go on expanding like this without break. From our room, let us now expand it to the whole campus, university, or wherever we are, our whole area. Feel that the whole thing is swimming in that inner peace and harmony. Expand further, it goes beyond the whole town, then the whole district, then the whole state, then the whole of India. Then expanding further, it encompasses all the nations of the world. We are contributing to peace and harmony of the world, which is now troubled by so many miserable things happening. Let us contribute with our love and harmony and our peace, for world peace. The whole world is now immersed. Think of the globe, just immersed in that ocean of peace. Expand further beyond our world, our whole solar system, our sun and all the planets revolving around. The whole solar system is swimming in that peace and harmony. Expand further, not only our sun, other suns in our galaxy, the Milky Way, all of them, all the stellar systems, stars, they're all swimming in that. Think that to your left, to your right, front of you, behind you, above you, beneath you, in all directions, the peace and harmony, the vibrations are spreading. Wherever you look, there is peace and harmony. Open your eyes, look at your body, look at your surroundings. Now close your eyes again. Think that, oh, I am not this little body. I am this infinite sphere of peace and harmony. I have just been frozen into this little human body for a while. But I am not this. Temporarily, I am wearing this mask of the body. Unmasked, I am the infinite spirit. Think to yourself like that for a few moments. I am the infinite sphere of peace and harmony. I am not this body, though I am wearing a body. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You can open your eyes now. So this how to do meditation, if you want to learn practical way of doing meditation and also the principles of balanced living, Yogananda Satsanga has been established by Paramahansa Yogananda for this purpose. In internationally, it's called Self-Realization Fellowship. We have home study lessons. So you can sit in your home, you can get these lessons and you can read them and practice at your own pace. We have scientific meditation techniques. We have principles for all-round well-being and how to quicken our evolution if you are very much want to be a spiritual adventurer. You want to go on fast track. So then we have the Kriya Yoga method available also. So you can practice that. Those who wish, they can go into our website, ossofIndia.org. So these techniques of meditation, they are based on life force control or prana. It is prana which is the missing link between matter and our mind. Matter and mind, we think they are entirely different. They are not. They are vibrations of different levels. At a finer level, it is mind. At grosser level, it becomes matter. And what is connecting them? It is the prana, life force. So by controlling the life force, then very quickly, scientifically, we will be able to achieve and go into the inner side. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna tells us when you follow a method like this, then even a little practice, every day is spending time. So that is another thing I would advise you. Please spend a few minutes every day, morning and evening. If you are not already established in the meditation practice, start by doing 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, 5 or 10 minutes in the evening or night with a simple method. Then you will see that by the practice of meditation, how much you have gained. And the Kriya Yoga, working on the principle of balancing the pranas inside. There are various types. Prana is carrying out various activities. In summary, prana and apana. These are the two. There are others, Vyana, Udana, Samana. Balancing all of this prana, that is how Kriya Yoga gives us a deeper state of awareness. That is why Paramahansa Yogananda said, Kriya Yoga plus devotion, it works like mathematics, it cannot fail. Why devotion is coming here? Because they got heart and head. Both have to be reconciled. Heart and head reconciliation is very important. And by scientific practice of meditation, we develop the head side, logical side, scientific side. Along with that, we also have to have that feeling of love and devotion. That's why with these two together, here also we have a balance that we have scientific techniques plus devotion and love. So, Swami Sri Yukteswarji explains in the autobiography how Kriya Yoga helps us. It gives us a twofold proof of God, because we all want to know whether God is there or not, how we can experience. We get direct proof by the practice of Kriya Yoga. How? One, ever new joy, that the evidence of his existence, convincing to our very atoms. We can have many theories and all that, but when we directly experience, like that, we did just now a few minutes of meditation, how you felt? You felt some peace, you felt some calmness. And as you go deeper, you will feel joy, which is ever new. You will never get bored with that joy. So that is the proof of God's existence, plus practical. As you get that deep experience in meditation, you can also get practical guidance, how to conduct our lives. Because any problem you have, you get that stillness, give that problem, intuitively you will start getting the answer to that. So that is why, Kriya Yoga meditation is that way very valuable for us. So we can say that meditation takes us to a higher state of consciousness, where we find peace, tranquility, serenity, equilibrium, balance, strength, harmony, love, clarity, understanding, wisdom, and joy. Just hearing all these qualities, don't we feel like getting all this? And you will get all this with meditation. Undreamed of possibilities are there by the practice of meditation, So we have to have a little faith and experiment. And once you experiment, you start getting the experience. Nobody needs to convince us. We ourselves do. And we also understand that God is not just mute, that the being who is remote from us. He is a conscious, intelligent, universal being to whom you can appeal, not just an abstract mental concept. So that means this is the joy of a higher presence. In autobiography, Guruji explains that, quoting from Taittiriya Upanishad, which as an experience, Guruji gives us in the Samadhi poem, 14th chapter of autobiography, where he says, he describes his own experience. He says, from joy I came, for joy I live, in sacred joy I melt. You see, this is the sum and substance. When we practice, live a balanced life, highly successful life, because this is what the purpose of life is. To discover that we have come from joy, that we are supposed to be in joy all the time, and we are supposed to melt in joy. We can think of it like a simple simile. We have an ocean of joy. Out of that, several waves are created. So these are all the waves created in that way. For the purpose of Leela or drama, God has given us three masks: causal body, astral body, and physical body. With these three masks, we masquerade as somebody else, something else. We forget our joy, inner joy, and then we manifest all this, outer role we are playing. But we forget that our real nature is joy. So that is why it is very important to have this balance of discovering that inner joy and also playing our role properly outside. Guruji, so to remember that in today's talk, if you don't remember many points, at least take this one formula with you. That is, to be calmly active and actively calm. That's all. If you remember this, then today's purpose of this talk will be very wonderfully served. Because this is the way to balance our lives. Actively calm means we manufacture peace inside. Peace is to be manufactured within. We can't get from outside. We have to go inside, and we should know how to go inside and gather that peace. That is actively calm. We get a little glimpse of it when we sleep in the night. We get passively, we get the calmness. But through meditation, we have to get actively that calmness. Then holding on to the calmness, we do all our activities and achieve all-round success. There is no limit to what we can achieve. And this can be kept in mind by a simple example of a pendulum. In our college, we used to do experiments in our physics laboratory. And the simple pendulum experiment we would do to measure gravity. What is that? How much is the gravity? Earth's gravity. We determine that. So that simple pendulum, it used to do the experiment. So simple pendulum has the simple harmonic motion, SHM. It just goes this way, that way, this way, that way. Very harmoniously, it just keeps going. Now, from that example, we can learn. When the pendulum is still, no movement, that is inner calmness and peace. And when it wants to go, it swings into action and it starts moving, but very harmoniously, not haphazardly, not here and there, that in a confused way. No, very calculated way, very precise way, harmonious way, peaceful way, the pendulum is swinging. Suppose our life is like that, how wonderful it will be, isn't it? That means we discover the inner peace through meditation. When we shut off the world, go inside, then we come out and then we are very active, we are very successful in life. We achieve whatever we want to achieve by leading a very balanced and harmonious life without attachment to anything and treating success and failure in the same way as Bhagavan Krishna told us. Then this is the way for us to proceed. I hope I have not taken excess time, maybe 5 minutes extra I have taken. But then just remember this formula of being calmly active and actively calm. Okay? Then remember that it is not in doing, but in being that we experience our divinity. And it is not in action, but in awareness that we perceive our true potential. When we tap that potential, we can become calmly active and actively calm. That means we have to pay more attention to mindfulness, heartfulness, awareness. And it is not just doing things, it is discovering who we are really. That. So I will end the talk now with this. And those who are interested, you can visit our website. You can also order our books online through our bookstore. And you are seeing the image of our Smriti Mandir in Ranchi. So you can also now log off. You can also go from here carrying the spiritual vibration emanating from this Smriti Mandir, spiritual nuclear center. From there, tremendous vibrations are going all over the world, all over the universe. So I pray that you are also recipients of that spiritual vibration. And I pray that you got something from today's talk. It stimulated your thinking, and you will start exploring the inner dimensions more and more sincerely, and balance your lives and be successful in your lives. I pray for all of you. Namaste, Jai Guru.
Thank you so very much, Swami Suddhananda. That was a very comprehensive, very balanced talk, if I may say so. All details and whatever we needed to lead a balanced life. I will speak more about the talk and summarize it a little later. We have a lot of questions in the last 5 or 10 minutes when we opened the chat. So I'll just ask you a few of them, which are probably more relevant to all. And we have actually comments from Nikita Thakurji, Vijay Raoji, Colonel D.S. Chima ji, Dwarka Das ji, Shakti Dharan ji, Suman Beri ji. There is somebody called Little One ji, but I don't know the name. So Little One is a very nice term that Guruji also used. They have all praised the talk and given their thanks and gratitude. Vijay Raoji is asking if he'll get the copy of the talk, and yes, it will be available on YouTube. We will try to post the link right now on the chat, and you can share that later also with anybody who is very much interested in such talks. And Puneet Agarwal is asking the first question, Swamiji. He's saying, how to focus on the breath? I feel a headache while focusing even for a small duration. Puneet Agarwal is asking.
Okay. If you follow a scientific technique which has been proven by actual practice by so many, that is one of the techniques given in Yogananda Satsanga lessons, like our Hongsa technique. So if you learn a technique like that, then you get the method of how to watch the breath without controlling it. And when we are very relaxed mentally, why we get tension? Because when we become mentally, we become tense. When we are mentally tense, we start controlling the breath. And when we start controlling the breath, we don't get the effect of watching the breath in a detached way. Because when we watch in a detached way, we get the deep calmness. Because we detach ourselves from the outer form of this body and our outer nature. We go inside. But when we get identified with the body, that is how we start controlling the breath. We get headache and all those things because of that. So we need to see whether we are mentally relaxed. We can prepare ourselves properly before meditation, before we do the practice, by relaxing the mind. That is why Paramahansa Yogananda has given some methods, like we do prayer or we do some chanting. When we do chanting, the mind relaxes. So then we practice the scientific techniques, then you will be able to get.
Yes, Swamiji, there is a question from Swati ji. She is saying, Swamiji, can you please give tips for working professionals on how they can achieve greater balance? Often work overtakes everything else and eats into meditation time.
Yeah, this is actually time management. It all boils down to that. If you take the time from morning to night, how much time we have, and allot for each activity a particular slot of time, and focus on that when we do. Whatever we do it with deep concentration and focus. And once that activity is over, then you just forget it. So I illustrate with one story. Many times when I share with students, there was this man working in the inquiry committee, an inquiry counter of a railway station which was very, very busy, just like Churchgate railway station or New York Grand Central railway station. So, and he was very calm, and all the time people are bombarding him with questions. So then this psychologist who was in the line, he was very curious. So he just waited for the crowd to thin out. Then he asked the question, sir, tell me, how do you handle such a high pressure job and still you remain very calm and cool? He said, how do you manage so much crowd? He said, crowd? Where is the crowd? I don't see any crowd. I just see the person in front of me. I hear his question and I give the answer. If he doesn't understand, I repeat again second time. That's all. Then I shut off. I just concentrate on the next person who comes. So the formula is one thing at a time, one thought at a time. If you just simplify your life like that, simplify your thinking process and streamline it and do time management so that you have slot for everything, then you will be able to do that. No matter how pressure jobs you may be having, you will be able to handle it.
Thank you, Swamiji. Balaji Vijayanji and Raj Shekharji are also praising the talk a lot. Kavya is asking a question, Swamiji. She says, thank you for such an amazing session, Swamiji, really helpful. I am feeling my commitment to the Guru is lacking despite conditioning myself. I am not feeling the same level of devotion that I used to have. I have constantly asked Guruji to set me at the right path, and maybe that is why I am feeling that something is missing. I don't know what to do, Swamiji. Please guide me on how to be more committed.
Yeah, good question. Because we should learn how to treat failures. Because, when you are successful, it's very easy to have the right attitude to manage it. It's not so difficult. But when we have failure or when we feel we are not up to the mark, there's a shortcoming, we are not really doing well. So at that time, how to handle it? This is very important. In the Law of Success, I will recommend that book, The Law of Success, to everyone, especially all the students. And I'm sure that in your library, you have that book. So in Law of Success, Guruji gives us very wonderful formula. Failure is a stepping stone for success, or failure is the best season for sowing the seeds of success. Can you think of that? Just like I quoted this, gave the story of Thomas Alva Edison, that illustrates exactly that. That means when we are not up to the mark, what we need to do? We need to just analyze and see where we are lacking and how we can improve, and make the effort to improve. And as long as we are making the effort, we are not failures, because effort is progress. Only person who doesn't make the effort, he is the real failure. That means he has become mentally lazy. As long as we are making the effort to change, even though immediately we may not see the results, doesn't matter, because we have complex karmic conditions we brought from the past. According to that, we may go through times, good times and bad times. They will go alternately. Like a sine wave, which is very natural, no? Electrical system, when you study that we have a sine wave, goes up and comes down like this. So our life also, the karmic conditions, they lead us to situations where things go very well and things are very difficult, very challenging. So during all those times, so then if we are continuously making the same effort, we are not lacking in effort. Even when we are facing challenges, our effort we are not lacking, then we are successful. We should not think that I am not doing enough. Probably Guruji is not pleased with me. One should never entertain such thoughts. Whereas rather, we should just focus, because Yukteswarji said in the autobiography, everything in future will improve if you are making a spiritual effort now. That means every moment you keep on making the spiritual effort, then you will be fine. So we should not become complacent. That is what we need to guard ourselves against. We remember that road sign we see in mountain roads. Savdani hati, Durgatna hati, gati. So that describes very correctly. That means when we lose God, when we become complacent, I have reached a particular level, then you become complacent, you reach a plateau, then there's no more progress. We have to go on striving for continuous progress. We should never, drop, our efforts, lessen our efforts. So if we do that, then we are fine.
Thank you, Swamiji, for answering it so beautifully. Akshit Gupta ji is asking a personal question, but I'll read it out because it may be relevant to others also. But he may also be able to contact you later, Swamiji. I will try to connect. He says, I'm bedridden, hence I cannot perform any asana or pranayam. Therefore, I'm not able to reach the level of meditation at all. So I try hard. I try to meditate daily, but it does not happen. Can you provide any solution to this? Will I be able to reach the meditative state in this life?
Yeah, very good question. Because those who are mentally challenged, they have some impaired, the faculties, some limbs are impaired and things like that, whatever, and also mentally challenged. More of physically challenged. Let us talk about physically challenged. So those who are physically challenged, they should keep in mind, though the physical body has got these impairments, some parts are not functioning properly, or they are, dysfunctional. But remember that the astral body, which is behind the physical body, is always perfect. That is why sometimes the blind people, they have got a much keener sense of perception. Even persons who are looking at something, they may not perceive, but the blind person is able to sense that. That is because the inner astral sense is functioning. So we should remember that inner astral senses are all intact, though physical senses are not there. So keeping that in mind, so we're not able to sit, we are paralyzed, whatever. Then what do? Think that so you are perfectly all right. That means don't think about your handicap. Don't think about your problems you are having with the body. Rather, think of the perfect soul. Soul is perfect. Even though the instruments the soul is wearing, they can be imperfect, but soul is always perfect. So think of the perfection of the soul and then do your part, whatever is possible for you without straining. That is the most important part. Because once I was undergoing some difficulty, the body was giving a lot of trouble. So I was not able to meditate properly. And I was also feeling like this devotee, that what I can do. I wrote a letter to Binali Mataji, who was the president at that time. Then she wrote back, telling me, remember one thing, don't strain. When your body is not cooperating, do your best, be relaxed, and surrender your fruits of your actions to God, whatever you have done. That's all. Very simple advice and practical advice. So this is what we need to know. That means soul is perfect, and whatever is possible for you to do it, don't compare with somebody who is able to sit for a long time and able to meditate and all that. Don't compare like that. Because your situation is unique to your life. Don't compare with anybody else. Do your best and just surrender to God.
Thank you, Swamiji. There are other devotees and guests who are praising the talk and thanking you. Neena ji, Nitya ji, Samira ji, Vijay Rao ji again, Charu ji, Usha Bhatt ji, Rajashri ji, I can't see the full name, but he says mind-blowing talk.
I don't know all that. But anyway, whatever little I know, I share it with everybody. If they have been helpful to everybody, that's good.
Ratnamala ji, Shamala ji, Rishabh ji, Dhanu ji, from Bareilly also somebody. And Lalit ji has posted the YouTube link on the chat. Those who are asking for the YouTube link may copy it from there. We'll try to send it separately also. Dhanu ji, Rukmani ji also grateful for the uplifting talk. Raj Shekhar ji again. And Shipra ji has a question, Swamiji. We know and discuss the importance of change and find ourselves following the dictates of subconscious habits. How to make it a practical reality, which seemingly I find a little away to touch. Not very clear, Swamiji, but probably the importance of conscious change rather than the dictates of subconscious habits. How do we?
Yeah, exactly. You see, if you understand the working of the subconscious, whatever we do consciously, the trace is stored in the subconscious. Okay, whatever we do, the trace is there. We entertain good thoughts, then a trace is there of that, or entertain some negative thought, then the trace is there. So if you have done that in the past without much conscious awareness, without mindfulness, suppose we have thought all sorts of things, they are all stored in the subconscious, all that muck is going to come and disturb us. So then once they come, we should not feel frightened or feel disturbed. Think that, okay, this is all because of whatever I did in the past. But I can undo all the wrong. I can change now. And if you have to have a strong determination, no matter what, or what sort of things I have done in the past, I am going to change. Because Bhagavan Krishna gives us assurance in the Bhagavad Gita. Even one who has got the worst karma, even such a person, if he turns to the ways of righteousness, very soon he will become a good man, a saintly man. He will forget completely that he was bad. That a person can completely change. So just have faith in the words of the great ones, all the avatars. And don't worry about how much troubles you have. The subconscious is troubling you. Because we all have the problem. We sleep in the night and all sorts of dreams come and disturb us. Then we feel that why these things are coming and disturbing me. Then we feel dejected. We feel discouraged. But then we should take it in the right way, right attitude. That means if these disturbances come, in spite of that, we are just completely determined. Doesn't matter. I am going to make the right effort now. Then as Yukteswarji said, everything in future will improve if I am making the effort now. So in that way, we can proceed. So to minimize the effect of subconscious, do everything more mindfully. Be aware of what you are doing, everything. Don't do anything just, unconscious, absent-minded way. Never do anything. Even when you are recreating, you are doing some, just sports, or you are doing some walking, be mindful of what you are doing. Don't do anything absent-minded. That is the way to prevent the subconscious to have a great influence on us.
Swamiji, we have 2 or 3 more questions to take. Chaturvedi ji is asking, after doing meditation, if we feel joy effortlessly, but not seeing anything at the kutastha, is it the right way?
See, all of us are different. God has created each one of us in a very own unique way. We have some unique capabilities, each one of us. So we also see things in a unique way. So because of that, each one may have spiritual experiences in a different way. Some may not see any light at all. Some may not see anything, but the person is feeling great joy. They're feeling great peace. That means you can be sure that you are making progress. Somebody may not have any type of vibrations, but he may be having some. May not have this type of spectacular experiences, but very quietly there's a change in consciousness. You find that previously you are very disturbed, you are very angry, you become very angry, you became very irritated, frustrated, but now you find you are very calm and you are never dismayed by anything. You're always cool and calm. That means you are making a progress. So it's a very subtle thing. You can't really just judge by the vision we have or the experiences we have.
Thank you, Swamiji. Maheshji is asking about PhD at the Yogananda Center. Dr. Prerna will be in touch with Maheshji later about the PhD possibilities. Pradeep ji, Uttam ji, Vani ji, Anuradha ji, Pooja ji, Deepthi ji, they are all praising the talk and thanking you, Swamiji, and thanking the Yogananda Center for Theology also for organizing it. Devashri ji and Shabnam ji, Yogesh Sood ji, Ananda ji, Ramraju ji, Mohini ji, Gulshan ji, Ananda ji, also praising the talk, Swamiji. Just a few more.
You are reading out all the names.
I thought I'll read out some of them, Swamiji, but now more are writing their names. Swamiji, 2 or 3 more questions only. One question is, Colonel Chima is asking, how do we explain this? We get what we deserve and not what we desire. A little bigger question.
How do you explain?
Yes, how that we get what we deserve and not what we desire.
You see, so that makes a lot of sense, isn't it? Logically, straight away we are able to agree with it. That means what we deserve means whatever efforts you have made. So in proportion to that, the results are coming according to that. What we desire means something we want to do. This is our goal, but we have not made enough efforts till now. So then the results don't come. So as simple as that. That means if we make sufficient efforts, accordingly, the results also come.
Swamiji, there are some people who are mentioning Shoolini University as Saloni University. Just to clarify, it is Shoolini, SHOOLINI. So you can Google and see the website also. I think, Swamiji, somebody has summarized your talk very well, and that is the last point that I'll just read out. And this is Uttam. He says, Swamiji, my takeaways from this talk of yours: be calmly active and actively calm, handle one thing at a time, do everything with full attentiveness, not in an absent-minded manner. So I think I believe he's a student, and I'm very happy that he has encapsulated your talk.
Wonderful. Yeah, very nice.
Swamiji, it is time to close the session, and we have a lot of other people also who have thanked you, and the session has been very much well received. We have posted the link on the chat if somebody wants to watch it later. Otherwise, we will be sharing it again in all channels wherever we can. On behalf of Yogananda Center for Theology, Shoolini University, Swamiji, I would like to thank you for delivering this wonderful talk session. And not only the contents, but also the manner in which you delivered it. Highly appreciable, and everybody was very much elevated and uplifted. We really felt inspired just by being in your presence. Even electronically, we feel inspired. And of course, the contents were very well laid out with great quotes from Guruji as well as from other very eminent people who have studied the subject of success and balance. And as Dr. Khosla said in the beginning, I think it is very important for everyone to start thinking at whatever age they are or stage they are, that how they can balance their lives. I think this talk on balancing our lives, if even a little bit of it can be followed, as you said, even that quote on being calmly active and actively calm, that will be good enough. Once again, Swamiji, we want to thank you, and this proceedings of this webinar will be published in the next edition of our Divine Quest magazine, which will also be made available. And that magazine is available on our website link and also on email to anybody who wishes to have a copy of it. It's about 100 pages of last year's activity articles. So thank you very much. And once again, Swamiji, before I hand over to Dr. Prerna for one last closing remark, a warm thank you from all of us. Dr. Prerna, please close.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you, Swamiji. On the behalf of Divine Club, we have established in YCT also. So on behalf of those students, thank you so very much for your this great talk. Thank you, Khosla sir, for sparing your time with us. Thank you everyone for joining us. Stay in touch with YCT. We will be definitely bringing you such a great learning divine talks to you. Thank you everyone. Thank you.